Excuse me, that's my seat, Aisha Thompson snapped, her voice slicing through the hum of the first-class cabin on Pinnacle Airways, Flight 1847 from New York to Los Angeles. She gripped her boarding pass, the paper crinkling under her fingers, as she stared down at Elizabeth Grant. The white woman sprawled in seat 2A like she owned the plane. Aisha's hoodie and jeans screamed post-conference exhaustion after 3 grueling days pitching her tech innovations to skeptical investors, her dark skin glistening under the overhead lights from the rush through JFK. Elizabeth didn't budge, her blue eyes narrowing as she scrolled her phone, manicured nails tapping designer listings. "I think you're mistaken," Elizabeth fired back, her tone dripping entitlement honed from years of unchecked privilege in Boston's elite circles. "This is first class. Perhaps you should check with the attendant. Mistakes happen with certain bookings." The word certain hung like a slap, laced with the unspoken jab at Aisha's appearance, her casual attire clashing with Elizabeth's tailored suit and Louis Vuitton bag barricading the floor. Aisha's jaw tightened, her pulse hammering as memories of boardroom dismissals flooded in, always the only black woman proving her worth twice over. "My pass says 2A. Move!" Aisha demanded, thrusting the ticket forward. Elizabeth waved it off. "I'm a platinum member. I requested this window. Find something else. I'm settled." Heads turned in the cabin, passengers shifting uncomfortably as Elizabeth pressed the call button with a smug flick. Sarah Chen, the flight attendant, hurried over, her uniform crisp, eyes darting between them. "Ma'am, is there an issue?" Elizabeth leaned in first. "This woman claims my seat. Handle it." Sarah glanced at Aisha's pass, then at Elizabeth's VIP lanyard. "It does show 2A for you, Miss Thompson, but Mrs. Grant is a valued customer. Maybe we can relocate you to 3C. It's spacious." Aisha's fist clenched, nails digging into palms. "Relocate me? For her mistake?" Elizabeth smirked. "See? Flexibility is key in these spaces." The cabin air thickened with tension, Aisha's chest heaving as the injustice burned, her paid seat stolen, her dignity questioned, all because she didn't fit their mold. Sarah nodded toward Aisha. "Please, to avoid delay." The words fueled Aisha's rage, her eyes locking on Elizabeth's triumphant gaze, the spark of confrontation igniting a fire that wouldn't extinguish easily. Aisha's breath caught, her spine straightening like steel as Elizabeth's smirk deepened, the cabin's eyes boring into her back. "I won't move for your comfort," Aisha shot back, her voice steady, cutting through the murmurs like a blade. She planted her feet, refusing to yield an inch, her dark eyes blazing with the fire of countless slights endured in corporate wars where her black skin marked her as an intruder. Sarah hovered, wringing her hands. "Ms. Thompson, please understand, Mrs. Grant's status means we prioritize harmony." Harmony. The word twisted in Aisha's gut, a code for surrender, for swallowing the insult to keep the peace that never favored her. Elizabeth crossed her legs, a victorious gleam in her posture. "Exactly. Some people just don't grasp how these things work." Aisha's knuckles whitened on her backpack strap, the weight of her laptop inside, a machine holding deals worth millions, innovations that powered the very airline mocking her now, pressing against her side. She could feel the stares, the older white couple in row 3 nodding approval at Elizabeth, the young Latina woman in row 4 filming discreetly, her phone capturing every barbed exchange. "This isn't harmony," Aisha countered, her tone unyielding, each word hammered out with precision. "This is erasure. You see my clothes, my skin, and decide I don't belong." Sarah stepped closer, blocking the aisle. "We'll compensate you. Extra miles a voucher." Aisha's lips curled in disdain, her heart pounding with restrained fury. She wouldn't beg. Dignity demanded more. With a final glare at Elizabeth's smug face, Aisha turned, striding toward the empty seat offered, but paused at the bulkhead. "You'll regret underestimating strangers based on looks alone," she declared, her voice echoing like a curse in the confined space. The cabin fell silent, the weight of her words lingering as she sat, her mind already racing ahead, plotting the storm that would follow this slight. Aisha's fingers flew across her phone screen the moment her back hit the seat, the cabin's engines rumbling to life, masking her fury. She pulled up her Ski Tech app, the one buried in executive overrides, and punched in Elizabeth's name from the overheard chatter: Grant, Boston Elite, Platinum Pest. Results flooded in. A trail of complaints buried in airline logs, Elizabeth's sharp dismissals of minority passengers on past flights, her demands for appropriate seating echoing coded racism. Aisha's eyes narrowed, her breath quickening as she cross-referenced the captain. Rodriguez, with his own history of backing VIP bullies, reports of him sidelining black travelers to maintain order. Her nails tapped harder, uncovering forum posts from victims. A black executive bumped last year, a Latina mother humiliated. Then the hook, a cryptic email in Elizabeth's linked profile, dated years back, mentioning old schemes sealed, no loose ends. Aisha's pulse spiked, her mind connecting dots in the dim cabin light. What scheme? She screenshot everything, her resolve hardening like iron. Elizabeth glanced back once, unease flickering in her smug eyes. But Aisha stared forward, the seeds of retribution already sprouting. The plane taxied, but the real takeoff loomed beyond this flight. You think you own this sky? Not anymore, Aisha hissed under her breath, her thumb slamming the screen as the plane lurched forward on the runway. Her SkyTech app glowed in her lap, executive overrides unlocking like weapons in her arsenal. The very tools that made her the unseen queen of Pinnacle Airways. Fury propelled her. Elizabeth's sneer still burned in her mind, Rodriguez's complicit nod fueling the blaze. She tapped the CEO ground command, fingers precise, overriding protocols with a single swipe. Alarms blared in the cockpit instantly, the plane shuddering to a halt, passengers gasping as the intercom crackled. Ladies and gentlemen, we've received an urgent directive. Returning to gate, Rodriguez announced, his voice cracking with confusion. Aisha's lips curled in grim satisfaction, her heart thundering as she drafted the next strike. Emails to her board, flagging Elizabeth's name for permanent ban, Rodriguez for suspension. She cross-checked databases, pulling flight manifests. Elizabeth's history of complaints exploding on her screen, each one a dagger of entitlement slicing through minority passengers. Breaths came sharp, her mind mapping retribution. Leak the incident to media allies, her assistant Kai already pinging with alerts. Boss, social's blowing up. Video from row 4's viral, Kai texted. Aisha fired back. Amplify it. Pull Rodriguez's logs. Every biased call he's made. Her nails dug into the armrest, envisioning Elizabeth's face paling at the gate, the woman's empire of privilege crumbling under Aisha's command. She initiated the fleet-wide alert, her tech empire humming to life, algorithms scanning for patterns of discrimination across routes. Rodriguez stormed the aisle, face flushed. Who authorized this? Aisha met his glare, her voice ice. The owner did. His eyes widened, but she cut him off, standing tall. Your career ends here. Biased calls documented. Passengers whispered, phones out, capturing the unraveling. Elizabeth twisted in her seat, panic flashing. Aisha's plans solidified. Not just this flight, but a purge. Triggers in the system to flag VIP abusers, her power surging like jet fuel. Kai confirmed. Legal's on it. Bans processing. Aisha leaned back, the gate approaching, her vengeance a calculated storm ready to break. Power isn't for crushing, it's for lifting, Aisha muttered, slamming her office door in Skitech's New York headquarters hours after the flight's chaos, her heels clicking like gunfire on marble floors. She shed her hoodie, revealing the sharp suit beneath, her reflection in the glass wall, a portrait of unyielding command. Dark curls framing a face etched with battles, won in tech's white-dominated arenas. Assistants buzzed around her desk, screens alive with data streams, but Aisha waved them off, diving into her command center alone. Her fingers danced over keyboards, pulling up victim files from airline archives. Black professionals sidelined, Latina families demeaned, all echoes of Elizabeth's venom. She dialed one, a former exec named Marcus, his voice cracking on the line. They bumped me for a white VIP last year. Lost my deal. My confidence. Aisha's grip tightened on the phone, her resolve steeling. Not anymore. Send your evidence. I'll make it right. She transferred funds instantly, her empire's resources flowing like justice's tide, sponsoring his startup while algorithms flagged similar cases across Pinnacle's fleet. Kai burst in, tablet thrust forward. Elizabeth's network exposed. Old emails tying her to boardroom purges, pushing out minority leaders for fit issues. Aisha's eyes lit, her breath steadying as she connected dots to Rodriguez's complicit logs, his pattern of shielding elites. She mentored a young black intern in the corner, handing her code to refine bias detection software. Build this. Trap the next abuser. The girl's nod fueled Aisha's fire, her world a fortress of equity where power served the overlooked, not the entitled. Elizabeth's face flashed on a monitor, a news alert pinging, viral video spreading, public outrage mounting. Aisha smiled coldly, uncovering a deeper secret. Elizabeth's ties to a hidden group suppressing diverse hires in aviation. She archived it, her plan expanding, the office humming with purpose as allies rallied. We demand an apology, now! Elizabeth barked into her phone, her Boston penthouse trembling with her stomp as Rodriguez paced beside her, his uniform rumpled from the grounded flight's fallout. Rage twisted her features, her husband's shadow looming in the doorway. But desperation clawed deeper, viral videos shredding her reputation, stocks dipping from the scandal Aisha ignited. She owns it all? We'll bury her, Rodriguez snarled, fists balled, his career dangling by a thread. Elizabeth dialed Aisha's leaked contact, her voice shifting to honeyed remorse. Ms. Thompson, I regret everything. My words, my assumptions. Let's meet, make amends. Aisha's office line rang, her eyes flashing at the caller ID, Kai nodding from across the desk. She answered, voice velvet steel. Regret? Prove it. Elizabeth seized the opening, arriving at Skitech's lobby hours later, Rodriguez in tow, faces masks of contrition. We were wrong, blinded by privilege, Elizabeth confessed. Tears forced, her hand extended. Rodriguez echoed, suspend me if needed, but forgive. Aisha leaned back in her chair, gaze piercing. Forgiveness conditional. Share your logs, every VIP override you've pulled. They hesitated, then complied, handing over drives loaded with data, their thuds on the table masking hidden smirks. Aisha scanned files instantly, her pulse racing at a buried video clip. Elizabeth's husband plotting with insiders, a scheme to sabotage diverse hires years back. This changes everything, Aisha whispered, pocketing the drive, her fake smile holding as she ushered them out. Deal sealed, for now. They left, whispers of revenge trailing, but Aisha clutched the video, a gateway to deeper shadows waiting to unravel. You tricked us, you bitch, Richard Grant snarled, slamming his fist on the mahogany desk in his Boston study, his face contorted in fury as Elizabeth paced behind him, her nails clawing at her arms. The video Aisha extracted burned on his screen, exposing their old sabotage, pushing out minority execs to hoard airline contracts, profits stained with bias. Richard's veins bulged, his white-knuckled grip crushing the mouse. She played us for fools. Conditional forgiveness? I'll ruin her. Elizabeth whirled, eyes wild. We fed her the drive ourselves. Now she's got proof. Richard cut her off, dialing shadows from his network. Not if we strike first. His voice thundered through the phone to insiders. Leak dirt on Thompson. Fabricate scandals. Bury her in lawsuits. Aisha's alerts pinged in her office. Kai bursting in with the news. Grant's husband, Richard, aviation mogul. He's mobilizing. Threats incoming. Aisha's jaw locked, her fingers flying to counter-hack, pulling Richard's profile. A web of corruption, boardroom coups favoring white elites, his hand in Elizabeth's past purges. He's the architect, Aisha breathed, her pulse slamming as social media flared with planted smears against her. Anonymous posts calling her affirmative action fraud. Richard laughed in his den, toasting with whiskey. She owns 65%? We'll crash her empire. Elizabeth nodded, venom surging. Expose her casual flight look. Prove she doesn't belong. But Aisha fired back online. her allies amplifying the video snippet, public outcry mounting against the grants. Richard's phone exploded with board calls, his face paling. "She's turning our weapon against us." He slammed the receiver, plotting deep alliances with rival firms to sabotage ski tech deals. Aisha met his digital assault head-on, her eyes steel as she uncovered his emails. A larger conspiracy to monopolize aviation through discrimination, blocking black leaders like her from rising. "He's not just angry, he's terrified," Aisha said to Kai, her resolve igniting. Richard's thuds echoed as he paced, the noose tightening, his hatred boiling over into a vow. "We'll end her before she ends us." "You'll pay for digging up our dirt," Richard growled into the encrypted line, his fingers smashing keys to erase traces. But Aisha's team already breached the firewall, her screen exploding with intercepted emails from the video's trail. She slammed her coffee down, splatters flying, her eyes locked on the glowing evidence. Timestamps linking Richard's sabotage to a 2018 board purge, where he orchestrated firings of black and Latino execs at rival airlines, funneling contracts to his white cronies. "This video's the key. Trace the senders," Aisha commanded Kai, her voice a whip crack, as he nodded, pulling up metadata. The clip showed Richard in a dimly lit meeting, his face twisted in conspiracy. "We keep the skies clean. No diversity hires crashing our profits." Aisha's fist balled, her breath ragged, memories of her own climbs through glass ceilings shattering anew. She'd yelled at Elena Vasquez, the journalist ally from the flight, her words firing rapidly. "Elena, cross-check this with your sources. Richard's network runs deep." Elena's response came sharp. "Got it. Leads to a shadow fund. Donations masking bribes." Aisha paced her office, heels stabbing the floor, piecing fragments, bank transfers to Rodriguez for his loyalty, anonymous tips bearing complaints from victims like Marcus. Kai hacked deeper, uncovering chat logs, Elizabeth coordinating with Richard. "That Thompson woman's next. Frame her as unstable." Aisha's lip curled, her mind racing ahead, dispatching a private investigator to tail Richard's Boston haunts. "Follow him. Get physical proof," she ordered, her pulse thundering as reports streamed in. Richard meeting shady lawyers, shredding documents in alley shadows. She confronted a whistleblower online, an ex-employee trembling on a video call. "They ruined my career, called me unfit for being black," the man confessed, handing over recordings of Richard's rants. Aisha archived them, her resolve forging ironclad, connecting dots to a wider web. Aviation giants colluding to suppress minorities, profits soaring on discrimination's back. Elena texted, "Found a victim chain, dozens silenced." Aisha's fingers blurred, compiling dossiers, her team raiding public records for flight logs matching purge dates. Richard's threats escalated, hacked emails to Aisha. "Back off or your company's next." She countered with subpoenas drafted in secret, her allies in civil rights groups amplifying leaks on social media, hashtags igniting public firestorms. Kai flagged a breakthrough, the video's origin, a deleted server in Richard's firm, restored fragments revealing payoffs to silence witnesses. Aisha's eyes burned, her body taut as she interviewed more victims, their stories fueling her drive. A Latina pilot demoted, a black mechanic fired on false claims. "We'll expose it all," she vowed, piecing the puzzle in late-night sessions, coffee-fueling marathon hacks. Richard's noose tightened unknowingly, his frantic deletions feeding Aisha's evidence machine. She uncovered financial trails, offshore accounts laundering purge profits, tied to Elizabeth's properties. "This isn't just personal, it's systemic rot," Aisha breathed to Kai, her voice steel as they mapped the conspiracy's veins. The investigator reported back, photos of Richard burning files, his face pale under streetlights. Aisha smiled coldly, integrating them into her growing arsenal, the investigation snowballing into an avalanche poised to bury the grants. "This can't be real," Aisha gasped, slamming her laptop shut, then reopening it, her fingers trembling as the restored server files unloaded their poison. Richard's master plan exposed in stark emails and ledgers, a decade-long scheme to rig airline boards, ousting black CEOs like her predecessor at Pinnacle, framing them as incompetent, to seize control and siphon billions into his pockets. Her chest heaved, bile rising as details sharpened. Elizabeth as the enforcer, whispering lies to investors. Her VIP status, a front for bribes that crushed diverse hires, leaving trails of ruined careers and rigged contracts favoring white monopolies. Kai leaned in, face ashen. It's bigger than we thought. Richard orchestrated the 2015 crash in funding for minority-led tech, bankrupting firms to buy them cheap. Aisha's nails gouged the desk, her mind reeling from the betrayal's scale. Not just personal slights, but a systemic chokehold on aviation, profits built on silenced voices, her own rise nearly derailed by their invisible hands. She cross-verified with Elena's leaks, witness statements confirming Richard's meetings, payoffs to silence whistleblowers, Elizabeth's signatures on falsified reports, labeling targets as cultural misfits. Fury ignited in Aisha's veins, her breath short as she pieced the final puzzle. Rodriguez as their pawn, his biased calls part of the pattern, feeding data to Richard's empire. They betrayed the industry, stole futures, Aisha whispered, her voice breaking then hardening, the revelation a bomb detonating her plan into war. She forwarded the cash to legal allies, the weight crushing yet empowering, the truth a weapon forged from their lies, ready to shatter their world. Richard's distant roar echoed in her imagination as alerts pinged, his empire cracking under the exposure's first cracks. "You'll never expose us. You're finished," Richard bellowed, lunging across the conference table at the Emergency Aviation Summit in New York, his face a mask of twisted rage as Aisha stood firm, her dossier clutched like a shield. The room's air crackled, executives frozen mid-breath, but Richard charged, his meaty hand grabbing her wrist, twisting hard. "Hand over the files, now!" Aisha's arm burned, pain shooting up, but she yanked free, her eyes blazing defiance. "Touch me again, and you're done." Elizabeth flanked him, claws out, shoving Aisha back. "You think owning shares makes you queen? We built this industry. Your kind just sneaks in." The jab pierced, Aisha's blood boiling, her free hand slapping Elizabeth's away. "My kind? The ones you crushed for profit?" Richard cut in, voice a snarl. "Shut up! Guards, remove her!" Security surged, badges flashing, but Kai blocked one, his fist connecting with a grunt. Chaos erupted. Aisha dodged a swing, her heel stomping Richard's foot, cracking bone with a snap. He howled, collapsing, but Elizabeth grabbed a chair, swinging wildly. "Die, you thief!" Aisha ducked, the metal grazing her shoulder, tearing fabric and skin, blood trickling warm. Her breath ragged, she countered with a shove, Elizabeth stumbling into Rodriguez, who lurked in shadows, his knife glinting, pulled from his boot. "End this," he hissed, lunging at Aisha's throat. She sidestepped, elbow smashing his nose, blood spraying as he reeled. Alarms blared, summit attendees scattering, phones out filming the melee. Richard rose, grabbing Aisha from behind, choking her neck. "Surrender the evidence." Stars exploded in her vision, lungs screaming, but she stomped his instep, breaking free with a gasp. Elena burst through the door, camera rolling. "It's live! Millions watching!" Richard's eyes widened in terror, his grip faltering as Aisha twisted away, her voice hoarse. "Your empire falls today." Police sirens wailed outside, closing in, the room a battlefield of shattered alliances. Aisha's wounds throbbing, but her spirit unbroken, the final clash teetering on the edge of victory or death. "Get off me, you monster!" Aisha roared, kneeing Richard's groin with brutal force, his grip shattering as he doubled over, gasping like a fish on dry land. She bolted from the conference wreckage, blood streaking her arm, heart slamming against her ribs, dodging overturned chairs and shattered glass from the brawl. Kai grabbed her elbow, yanking her into a side corridor, his face bruised from security tussles. "This way. Elena's got a lead." Sirens screamed closer, police flooding the building, but Aisha shoved through a service door, her breath ragged, mind laser-focused on the final nail for the Grant's coffin. "The server room! Richard's backups!" she panted, leading them downstairs, heels scraping concrete. Elena met them at the basement level, laptop open, fingers blurring. Hacked his cloud password from the video crumbs. Aisha snatched the device, her wound throbbing, eyes scanning files, encrypted folders cracking under her overrides, revealing the crown jewel, ledgers of laundered millions, signed confessions from bribed witnesses, Richard's voice memos admitting the purges. We eliminate threats. Black CEOs like her steal our thrones. Her fists clenched, nails drawing blood from palms, fury mingling with triumph as she downloaded everything, cross-verifying with Elena's leaks. This proves the conspiracy: offshore accounts, rigged votes, lives destroyed for greed. Kai barricaded the door as footsteps thundered above, Rodriguez's shouts echoing. Find them! Burn the evidence! Aisha's pulse raced, her team working in tandem, Elena photographing screens, Kai uploading to secure clouds. She uncovered a hidden partition, Elizabeth's diary entries, venomous rants plotting Aisha's downfall post-flight, ties to federal insiders shielding their crimes. They bought judges, Aisha hissed, her voice cracking with outrage, fingers flying to archive audio clips of Richard laughing at victims' pleas. Security pounded the door, hinges groaning, but Aisha encrypted the hall, slipping a drive into her pocket. We escaped through vents. Now! They pried a grate, crawling through ducts, dust choking lungs, Aisha's shoulders screaming pain. Emerging in an alley, police lights flashing, she texted allies. Broadcast ready. Kai wiped sweat, grinning fiercely. Irrefutable. Emails to congressmen, payoffs logged. Aisha nodded, her resolve ablaze, piecing the last fragments. Victim testimonies synced with financial trails. Richard's betrayal of partners for solo dominance. They sprinted to a safe car, engines revving, the evidence a ticking bomb in her hands, poised to detonate in the public eye. Stop hiding behind your lies, Aisha thundered, bursting into the packed press conference in New York, her wounds bandaged but eyes aflame, thrusting the drive overhead as cameras flashed like lightning. The room erupted, reporters surging forward, Richard and Elizabeth frozen on stage mid-denial, their faces draining color. This evidence exposes your decade of sabotage, purges, bribes, stolen lives. Aisha's voice sliced through the chaos, projecting the ledgers onto screens. Names of ousted black leaders scrolling, Richard's memos damning him as the puppet master. Richard lunged for the podium mic. Fabrications! She's a fraud! But Aisha cut him off, playing the audio clip, his own sneering confession booming. We crushed diversity to keep control. Gasps rippled, Elizabeth clawing at her husband's arm. Turn it off, she shrieked, but Aisha advanced, handing copies to Elena, who live-streamed. Offshore millions to silence victims, your empire built on blood. Rodriguez, cuffed in the wings, slumped as his payoffs flashed, his biased calls tied to the scheme. The crowd roared, phones capturing every flinch, social media exploding with shares. Richard swung a wild punch at a reporter, but security tackled him, his bellows drowned in outrage. You're ruined, Aisha declared, her stance unyielding as FBI agents stormed in, badges gleaming, slapping cuffs on the grants. Elizabeth spat. You'll regret this, outsider. Aisha met her glare. Outsider? I own the truth now. Applause thundered, the revelation shattering their facade, justice's hammer falling hard, the room a crucible of exposed sins, paving the path to redemption's dawn. Guilty on all counts, the judge hammered, gavel cracking like thunder in the packed New York courtroom. Richard's face crumpling as cuffs snapped tight, his empire's ruins reflected in his defeated glare. Elizabeth collapsed beside him, sobs wrenching her frame, her designer clothes now prison garb in waiting. The jury's verdict sealing their fate, decades behind bars for fraud, conspiracy, and civil rights violations. Aisha stood tall in the gallery, her scars faded but resolve etched deep, watching FBI agents haul them away, Rodriguez trailing in chains, his badge stripped after confessions spilled under pressure. You destroyed lives, now face yours, Aisha whispered, her voice carrying to Richard's ear as he twisted back. Mercy? For what you stole. He spat, but guards yanked him silent, the courtroom erupting in cheers from victims' families. Loose ends unraveled fast. Offshore accounts frozen, bribes traced to corrupt judges now indicted. The aviation purges web dismantled piece by piece, board members resigning, companies audited, every rigged deal reversed in swift court orders. Marcus, the ousted exec, gripped Aisha's hand. Justice finally bites. She nodded, her chest swelling with vindication, as Elena's articles blasted the verdict nationwide, hashtags trending triumph. Rodriguez broke last, testifying against the grants for leniency, his biased logs the final nail. I enabled it all, he admitted, head bowed. The judge's sentence rang, life for Richard, 20 years for Elizabeth, restitution in billions. Aisha exhaled, the weight lifting, every knot of the conspiracy sliced clean, the courtroom doors swinging open to a world forever changed. Take it all, every penny, Aisha commanded in the boardroom, her voice a thunderclap as lawyers nodded, seizing the grant's frozen assets, billions funneling into trust for victims' restitution. Her hands slammed documents down, eyes fierce, channeling the courtroom's victory into action. Offshore accounts drained, Boston mansions auctioned, proceeds surging like a river to fund scholarships for black aviators, tech incubators for ousted minorities. No more shadows, build light, she declared to Marcus, handing him the first check, his grip firm, tears stinging but held back. Aisha's pulse steadied, her scars a badge as she toured rebuilt firms, installing bias detection software across airlines, algorithms humming to flag abusers before strikes. Elena captured it on camera, her broadcast blasting, "From ruins rises equity." Aisha met with Rodriguez during prison visitation, his face hollow. "Redeem yourself, testify more." He nodded, broken, his confessions aiding wider probes, unraveling sister schemes in other industries. She rallied communities in Harlem halls, her speeches igniting crowds. Their greed becomes our gain. Programs for pilots, engineers, dreams deferred no longer. Funds flowed to Latina pilots training, black mechanics unions. Her team auditing every Pinnacle flight for fairness, reports gleaming clean. Kai tallied impacts, thousands empowered, stocks soaring on ethical reforms. Aisha visited a young black girl's flight simulator class, funded by the hall, the child's eyes wide. "You fly free now," Aisha said, hugging her tight, emotions swelling, pride mixing with healed wounds. Elizabeth's jewels sold at auction, proceeds launching anti-discrimination hotlines, calls flooding in, justice's echo amplifying. Richard's yachts repurposed for community charters, carrying diverse leaders to summits. Aisha's resolve burned brighter, her actions a cascade. Board seats filled with minorities, policies rewritten overnight. Victims' families thanked her in tearful calls, stories mending under her watch. "This isn't charity, it's righting wrongs," she affirmed at galas, donors pledging more, the ripple expanding to education, healthcare tie-ins. Her office buzzed with plans, global expansion sketched, the grant's downfall birthing a legacy of uplift. Hope's flame kindled from their ashes. "Board now, your seat awaits." The gate agent beamed at Aisha, her voice warm as she scanned the ticket for Pinnacle Flight 1847, 2 years after the storm, the same route now a symbol of triumph. Aisha strode aboard, her suit sharp, scars hidden but lessons etched deep, settling into 2A with a nod to Sarah Chen, now head of inclusive training, her uniform badge gleaming, equity advocate. Sarah squeezed her shoulder. "Thanks to you, no more blind spots." Passengers boarded, diverse faces filling seats, black pilots in training uniforms, Latina execs chatting deals, the cabin alive with equality's hum. Aisha's phone buzzed. Kai's update, Bias Software Global, 15,000 complaints resolved last year. She smiled, leaning back, memories flashing. Richard's chains rattling in prison, Elizabeth's assets stripped, their billions rebuilding shattered lives. Marcus waved from row 3, his startup badge proud. "Your fight saved us all." Aisha hugged him mid-aisle, whispers spreading. She's the one who grounded injustice. Elena slid into the seat beside, notebook open. Story's not over. Your model's in Congress now? Aisha's chest swelled, her hand clasping Elena's. From one seat to the skies. The plane taxied, Zoe Kim, now a filmmaker, filming from row 5, her doc on Aisha's Revolution, premiering soon. You showed power serves people, Zoe called. Aisha nodded, eyes misting but fierce as takeoff pressed her back, the ascent mirroring her rise. Victims from the purge clustered in coach, upgraded free, their laughter echoing, families reunited, careers revived. A young black girl approached, eyes wide. Miss Thompson, can I be like you? Aisha knelt, badge in hand. You already are, fly high. The girl's grin lit the cabin, Sarah announcing, welcome aboard, dignity for all. Turbulence hit mild, but Aisha gripped the armrest, flashing to the original clash. Elizabeth's venom now dust. Root subplots closed. Rodriguez paroled, teaching anti-bias workshops. His redemption call to Aisha. I owe you my soul. She forgave sharp lip. Pay it forward. Global ties bloomed. European allies adopting her tech. American communities thriving on grants reparations. Schools funded. Jobs created. Discrimination's chains snapped. Aisha addressed the intercom mid-flight. This journey started with a stolen seat, ends with shared skies. Cheers erupted, passengers toasting with coffee cups. Landing in LA, crowds waited at the gate. Media, supporters, a banner. Aisha's legacy, equity takes flight. She stepped off, embracing the new family. Kai, Elena, Zoe, Marcus, Sarah, their bonds forged in fire. Power unused is power wasted, Aisha declared at the podium outside, her voice booming to the gathered. Lessons crystal. Stand against bias. Wield influence for the overlooked. Turn pain into progress. Cameras rolled, her words igniting hearts. The girl from the plane clutching her hand. We build together. Aisha's eyes scanned the horizon, planes soaring overhead, her revolution's wings spreading wide, a future where no one flies alone. In the end, this story reminds us that true power lies not in privilege or prejudice, but in standing up against injustice and using our influence to build a fairer world for everyone, where dignity isn't earned by appearance or status, but granted as a right. If this tale stirred something in you, share your thoughts or your own experiences with discrimination in the comments below. Your stories matter and can inspire change. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.